Welcome back to another Python tutorial. Today we're going to be going over classes and objects. So an object is essentially a custom type of data that has its own functions and variables associated with it. And objects are created using classes. So think of a class as a template to create your objects from. The way we create a class in Python is simply using the keyword class. Then you need to give your class a name. Classes should always start with an uppercase letter. So for our demonstration, I'm going to create a class called employee that can be used to create employee objects, perhaps for a company to keep track of its workers. Now in the parentheses goes something called a superclass from which your class inherits. And we're going to talk about this later, but our employee class for now doesn't have to inherit from another class. Now classes have what are called methods. These are functions that are associated with the class, and every class needs to have an init method. So you have to say define underscore underscore init underscore underscore. And what init is called, and it has to have this self parameter. So what the self parameter is referring to is the object itself. It's referring to the current object. So what the init function is called is a constructor. It runs every time you create an instance of your class. Every time you create an object, this constructor method runs and sets all of our instance data, which is the variables that are going to be associated with our class. And we'll see some examples of what instance data looks like in a second. So the init function can take more arguments than just self. It can take as many parameters as you need it to when you're creating your class. So whenever we create an employee, it's going to need a certain set of data associated with it. For instance, the person's name, their address. It's going to need an age, maybe the number of hours they work per week. It's going to need a wage, and it's going to need a job position. So that's a lot of parameters. Every time we create an employee, we the user need to supply that data. And some objects may not even require you to supply any data, but for the purpose of the employee, this is all unknown until we actually create an instance of the employee. Then we need to set our instance data. Self.name equals name. So what does this do? It's saying create a variable inside of the object. This name variable is now becoming a property of the object. We want to create a property of the object that it has a name, self.name. The name is now associated with, every time we create an object, it will have a unique name, self.name. And we need to set self.name equal to the name that is given in the constructor method. These two variables have nothing to do with each other. They're just named the same thing for simplicity purposes. And we have to do this, it's a little bit tedious, but we're most likely going to have to do this for all of our parameters unless the parameters serve some other purpose, such as to perform a calculation or to specify how another parameter is meant to act. So the IDE will help you a little bit with this because it will autofill some of these variables for you if they're a little bit long to type, but that wasn't too bad. Okay, so now every time we create an employee, it's going to have all of these properties associated with it. This is called instance data. They are created the same way we create variables, and they need to be created in the constructor. The constructor runs every time you create a new employee using this template, this blueprint. Now, classes and objects also have something called behaviors. We don't just have to have a constructor method, we can have additional methods that perform other functions within our class. For instance, we may want a method inside of the employee that calculates how much money they have earned in a week. We'll call this calculate paycheck. And every method needs to take the argument self so that it is able to access all of the instance data. Okay, so this should be a relatively simple method. All we have to do is return, let's assume a weekly paycheck for now. hours per week times, and we need to make sure we're specifying that it is self.hours per week because we're talking about the property. If you don't specify self, the program's not going to know what hours per week is because it's only a parameter in the constructor. Then we need to multiply that by our wage. Pretty simple. We can also create what are called helper methods. And these helper methods are never really meant to be used directly outside of the class. They're only meant to assist methods that are already in the class. So we all know that workers can earn overtime. And overtime, well, you get paid 50% more for every hour you work in addition to your normal hours. So let's say we need to take a parameter, extra hours. This is outside data that needs to be applied. And we're going to return extra hours times self.wage times 1.5. Cool. So this calculate paycheck method will also need a parameter now as well if we're going to add in our overtime. So it will need a total hours parameter telling us how many hours this employee worked in the entire week. That will also allow us to calculate how many extra hours they worked. So we will return hours per week times self.wage, and then plus, now we can call the calculate overtime method using self.calculate overtime. And the extra hours parameter is simply it's going to be actually total hours minus self.hours per week. That is the extra number of hours. And of course, after you work more than twice your normal number of hours, you earn extra money. And we can certainly add that, but for the purposes of keeping the video short, we will stop there. And we can add one more method, and it's standard practice to always have some kind of method that gives you info on the object itself. So let's say we'll call it get info. Takes a self parameter, of course. And we're going to return a string that contains all of this employee's info. So name colon plus self.name is a string. And we need a new line, so \n, address, and well, address should also be a string. And you can specify using comments what type of data each of those instance variables is actually supposed to be. We need to make sure we print their age as well. And age is actually going to be an integer, so we have to cast it to a string. And then we don't really need to print the hours per week and the wage. If we're getting just our employees' info, we can just say what their job title is. So and right, we do need a new line there as well. By the way, \n is called an escape character. It creates a new line. Cool. So you can use a \, in order to put these statements on multiple lines so it doesn't take up too much horizontal space. So now we have created an employee class, and we can actually create employee objects using this class. The way we do that, let's say employee1. We can store this inside of a variable. So we call the name of the class, and then using parentheses, we supply all of the arguments that are specified in the constructor. So let's say we have a name, we have an address, we need to have an age, we need to have an hours per week. Let's say he doesn't work too much per week. A wage, and of course a position. Cool, so we've now created an employee. And we can now call all of these methods that we've created inside of our employee. So if I say int employee1, dot get info. We should ideally have multiple blank lines after a class right there. That's why it's highlighting it. These are just stylistic conventions in Python. You can see we get our nice little string that we created in the getInfo method. Let's say we can say calculate paycheck, say he works 50 hours. We can calculate how much money our employee right here needs to make at the end of a week. And you can also print out all of the instance data inside of our employee individually. So if we wanted to print his name, wanted to print his age, all of those things will work just fine. Along the same lines, we can modify all of that data outside of our class as well. So if I wanted to say, perhaps our employee had a name change, and suddenly he wants to emulate me. We can also change this data by accessing it directly. And that's essentially how you're going to create a class in Python. Now, of course, this can be much more powerful than we've demonstrated right here. And classes have a very wide array of applications, especially classes that have already been created that you can use from libraries and so on and so forth. But if you need to create your own classes, you would do so using the class keyword, and then you understand that you can have instance data as well as behaviors that are acting as methods. Then you create an instance of the class using the name of the class, supplying the necessary data, and now you have an instance of this class with all of its own unique information. And you'll notice that I can make a second employee. I can make a second employee, and he will have all of his own unique data. That data is not at all affected by employee one. They are completely independent.